Hello, 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 and welcome, my Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, satisfying soulmate contract read for March 2020. Man, that's a mouthful. Or timeless, whenever you're supposed to watch this. I am your reader, Mark-Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and friend of the Scorpios of all walks of life. I love my Scorps. My older brother Matthew is a Scorpio. Yes, he's Matthew. I'm Mark. If my parents had stayed married, they would have been Luke and John, the next two. And what if they were girls? It's child abuse. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. I'm one of the fun ones here, if not the fun one, on YouTube, giving clarity, guidance, and grace with a lovely dose of homosexual New Yorker sense of humor. East Coast. Yeah. So please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I'm putting out content. I'm going to be doing more super chats. I love the edited stuff. But there's something about the communication and interaction that I'm missing. So I'm going to try and fit those into my schedule a bit more. So if you hit that notification bell, you'll know when I'm doing that. Cool. A couple of things. This is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what does not. And I trust the water signs to do that because you're intuitively based to go, well, part of this is working for me, but this part isn't, and that's okay. It's a general read, right? You want a personal read, you reach out to me, and I'll be glad to book something with you. I do it all the time. I'm glad to do it. All that information is in the description box below. Anyway, but let's talk about this reading, right? This is a soulmate contract reading. Soulmates and twin flames are not the same thing, though they are both soul contracts, right? The foundation of a soulmate contract is that you help each other heal, right? A one-on-one sort of deal. And they're not all romantic, sexual. My mom and I are soulmates, right? So we help each other heal. We have since the moment I was born, if not before, right? And other lives and all of that stuff. But this is about the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic kind, because those are the ones that most of us are hungry for, because it's taken us lifetimes, right, to deal with the psychology, right? It's like, my God, there wasn't psychology for a very long time on the planet. So we've been having these relationships, so the idea of codependent or abusive, neglectful patterns, it wasn't in our language for thousands of years. So it feels like this lifetime we might be able to actually get some of these contracts done so that we can bring more love to the world, that helping each other heal lovely kind of love, right? So in that way, your own personal happiness is a blessing upon all the world, the quantum field, the collective of humanity, all of life, right? So that's why I do these readings. And they are contract readings. I was raised, well, my mother divorced my father and married her divorce lawyer, so I was raised in a litigious environment. So I know about contracts, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at this soulmate contract like a contract with party number one and party number two, but we're going to be calling them divine feminine, and divine masculine has nothing to do with biological gender, Y chromosomes or otherwise. I myself am considered a divine feminine, though I am in a male body, right? So we're going to pull enough cards here that you should be able to figure out which one you are, and if you're cross-watching, same thing. Cross-watchers are always welcome on my channel. But if you can remember to breathe, partner with your breath, right? Get that flow of it, then you'll be more here and now in the present moment, just as I'm going to do the same. See, when I do it, it's to find the still point of the divine guidance and grace where these readings come from. Yes, I've been reading tarot since I'm 12 years old. I'll be 52 this year, so I have the skill that came from the repetition. But my spiritual gifts, which I am meant to give away, right? That's the thing about a spiritual gift. You give them away for pay. A lot of times, too, I do get paid. I'm a professional intuitive. But those come as a result of vows that I have made. I was a minister, a reverend for a very, very long time. I've sat at deathbeds, right? I've heard confessions, the whole 9 yards, a pagan one. So I get the more fun confessions, I think, because people know I've been through it. You know, talk to somebody who knows. So that's my connection with the divine. My whole life I've been a mystic developing that. So you get that, Scorpios. I'm a Pisces moon, so So take this as it goes and remember to breathe, and we'll do the best we can to get you the guidance and the grace you need to understand what's going on in your sexual, intimate, romantic, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise soulmate contracts. Cool, cool. Nice deep breath. We're going to start with Caroline Myss archetype cards. 2 cards, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. All the cards that I read are at the bottom of the description box. There are some links in there for my books, for some of my videos on VIMEO.com. You take classes that I did, recorded and edited, so go check all that out. But now let's get down to biz. Breathe. Lovely. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, 2 cards, one for the Divine Feminine and one for the Divine Masculine in this Scorpio collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, satisfying, soulmate contract for March 2020 or timeless, please. One for the Divine Feminine, thank you very much. And one, I feel, and one for the Divine Masculine. That was pretty fast. Feels like the pantheons are ready to play. Before I flip these cards and see who our 2 partners are here, keep in mind archetypes are neutral. They are soul powers. They are aspects of the larger soul contract for each individual. So, in a way, sort of like merit badges, right? It's like, well, I'm going to develop this power. Knot tying, right? Cooking in the middle of the fucking wilderness. But the difference here is that archetypes are neutral in the sense that their shadow and their light are balanced, right? They cancel each other out that way. The lead and the gold, the toxic and the healthy. So the lead, what's written on these cards are the shadow and the light attributes. The shadow is supposed to be triggery and tricky and toxic, right? Because that's what's being healed in the relationship. You're helping each other heal in this contract, whether you've met each other face to face or not. The light is what you're moving towards and maybe have already alchemized into your life, the lead to gold a bit, and are bringing that as a healing gift to the contract. Cool? So let's see who our happy couple is. Well. We've got the Divine Feminine as the Mother archetype, which is one of the feminine family archetypes. And we have got the Divine Masculine as the artist, okay? If you will, the more dominant in the creative family of archetypes. Now, I will say, without even reading anything on this card, when the Mother shows up in the on the Divine Feminine side, which does make sense, the tendency to be mothering in the relationship needs to be kept in check, because this is not a general soulmate contract between a mother and a child necessarily. This is a romantic, intimate, sexual thing. So when the mother energy becomes too dominant in it, it changes the dynamic, unless you're looking for that kind of romantic companionship that doesn't go there sexually, where it's more emotional, supportive in that way. But it can also be that there are some other issues being worked out here, which, yes, you can help each other heal that, but usually we do that stuff through the twin flame relationships. Those reads are coming next. Once I'm done with these, maybe I'll take a little break in between the 2. So let me read you what's written on these, right? The shadow attribute of the Mother archetype. We should know what this is by now. Smothering or abandoning children. And by the way, that's not literal smothering. All of that too, right? Emotionally smothering or abandoning, right? It's either keep them too close or get rid of them entirely. Instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. It happens, right? Even the best of mothers have those moments, but that would be predominant in the shadow here. The light attribute: nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life, not just a literal physical child, because the language, interesting, what these 2 have in common, the language of creativity and the language of pregnancy are the same. You conceive, you gestate, you carry, you labor, and then you give birth, right? Whether it's a piece of art or a baby, right? So that there's a connection there. There's definitely a strong connection between these 2, as I'm feeling now the energy of both of them. Let me read you the artist archetype. The shadow attribute: using talent as an excuse to mistreat others. Like hucking cell phones at them. I remember that. Do you remember that? Posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. Deception in any form sucks, but when you're posing as the starving artist to get pity and money from people, that's not great either. The light attribute expresses a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically, whether it's through writing, whether it's through dance. It doesn't have to be a performance art, it can be a visual art. But keep in mind, a lot of people have the artist archetype that don't think or don't realize they have the artist archetype because they don't fit into a performing or a visual art. I always come back to this one. Like, look at somebody's garden, right? If somebody gardens, sometimes that is just art. Like, if it's not just for food, but it's like topiaries and stuff like that. My mom has a very strong artist archetype. She's a Cancerian, so it shows up in her cooking, in her home, in her garden. Her gardens are gorgeous. Her koi pond, right? That whole 9 yards. So get that artist archetype can manifest itself creatively in all sorts of different ways. I am a verbal artist, though I'm also a dancer. I was a professional dancer for a while. Never stripped or danced on the pole, unfortunately. I'm a top. Never even rode one. Let's move on. If you don't know who you are right there, I feel like a lot of you know exactly who you are in this spread so far. Let's keep going. But if by chance you don't, we're going to take 5 cards, element spread, from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot for that Divine Feminine Mother archetype, and we're going to take 5 cards, element spread, for the Divine Masculine Artist. We're going to bless them both, top 5 cards. We're going to say top 5 cards, element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, and then we're going to pull them both at the same time. You'll see. This is cool. Breathe. Go deep, my Scorps. Go deep into that gut. Here we go. My goddesses, please, top 5 cards, element spread, for this mother archetype in this Scorpio collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, satisfying soulmate contract for March 2020, or timeless, please, my goddesses, fire. What does she want? I'm going to say she and he just for feminine, masculine. Please keep in mind, it's not about gender. It's just how I got to say it, right? So please, fire, what does she want? Earth, what does she have to get what she wants? Air, what does she think? Water, what does she feel? Spirit, what is the voice of her soul or point of view of her soul? Please, my goddesses, a clean cut. Please give us Maiden, Mother, Crone. Okay. Bear with me 1 minute. We're going to do the same for the Mythic Tarot with the Divine Masculine so I can pull them all at the same time. Breathe. It's not a big change in channel from the Divine Feminine to the Divine Masculine, from the goddesses to the gods, but it's a shift. My gods, please, top 5 cards, element spread, for this Divine Masculine artist archetype in this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Intimate, romantic, sexual, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, satisfying soulmate contract for March 2020, or timeless, please, top 5 cards, element spread, fire. What does he want? Earth, what does he have to help him get what he wants? Air, what is he thinking? Water, what is he feeling? And spirit, what is the voice of or the point of view of the soul? Please, my God, Son, Father, Sage. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We're ready to rock and roll. Let's see how this goes. We're going to start with the element of fire. What do they want? What do they want? Well, 2 major arcana cards. She wants the moon, he wants strength. Now, let's start with her. We've got the full moon, which is the mother part of the phase of the moon, right? It's maiden, waxing, mother, full, crone, waning. So here we have Yemaya, mother goddess, right, of the ocean, of the moon. Oh, that's Oshun. I sometimes get them a little confused. It's not my pantheon. But I've done enough comparative religion research in pantheons to know the Orishas, not so intimately, but respect them highly. We're really, really looking at here for this Divine Feminine, what she wants is that soul connection. There's the intuitive pull. So, like, this feels very Scorpio already, though this may, obviously the Divine Feminine is not going to be the Scorpio in every single person watching this, for everyone watching this video. So what she wants is that deep connection, like a mother to a child, but not a child, right? That nurturance, but also that strong intuitive pull and draw, so she doesn't have to rely so much on all of the intellectual data, but she can really go, no, this is what my soul is saying. So her spirit card should be very interesting in terms of what she wants. For the Divine Masculine here, we've got Heracles, the god of strength. I mean, the strength card here, known for his physical prowess, but also one of the great heroes of the Greek pantheon, was divine, lost his divinity, got it back through 9 labors. So definitely wanting the courage, the hero's journey, wanting to put together his fire, his earth, his air, his water, moving it into a place of greater strength. Not just strength, pick up the dining room table, throw it like a frisbee across the room, but that strength to be able to endure, to open the heart, to follow the heart. Courage, right? If you look up the word courage, often associated with the card of strength and the lion, right? The courage of the lion or the cowardly lion. It's opposite. To follow the heart. Cœur is the French word for the heart. So to have that strength of heart, that ability, that bravery to follow the path of love or the path of true love, which is not so easy. It takes a warrior's strength to walk the path of true love, and that is cultivated as you go. So let's see what they have, the element of earth, to help them get what they want. Well, she's got the Libra card, and he's got the 6 of Wands, a victory card. So looking at her, what she's got is she's got that balance. She's got the relationships in her life, the one-on-one partnerships. She has been in many one-on-one relationships. Come on, all of us have. But particularly because she's got the mother archetype, there might be a little bit more of that compassionate, emotional support and understanding. That she's able to keep a mental balance. Like my mom, when I talk to her about, I don't talk to her about boys a lot, right? I try and respect that to her. She's of a different generation, where you just didn't talk about those things. But occasionally, I can talk to her about stuff, and she's like, yeah, honey, I know. Like, I know. There is that understanding, that balance there, because she's been through it. She's been married and divorced. So I can go to her and say, I'm really struggling about this and that. She's like, oh, honey, I remember, and she'll say in every relationship, because mothers say this, in every relationship there are ups and downs. How does it all balance out? So it does feel like what she has to help her get this is that her mind is balanced, right? Libra, cardinal air sign, ruled by Venus, Skadi, the north wind, really looking there about that, yes, focus, but trying to find that balance point in between the two that oscillate. Remember, as soon as you get balance, you get imbalance, and you get balance, and you get imbalance. It's the opposite of balance is balance. So it's that back and forth that is actually how we even walk, right? For 1 second, when weight transfers from one foot to the other, you are off balance and you create balance, and you're off balance and you create balance. It's literally how we walk, how we move forward in this life. For him, he's got the 6 of Wands. So he's got that golden fleece. This is Jason and the Argonauts having just battled the dragon for the golden fleece. So he really does know how to overcome obstacles. This artist knows how to get past perhaps creative blocks, or know how to play the game, so to speak, to achieve the things that he wants. This feels like a winner, not a loser here. So regardless of which one is the Scorpio here, kind of feeling with that moon card a bit more on the divine feminine, but it feels like these are sane, stable people for the most part. I mean, everybody's got their moments, but feels good. Let's see what's going on in the mental field, the power of air. Okay. Very interesting. We've got the 8 of Cups. I don't call it walking away, because in this deck she's walking into a cave to go deeper, right? We'll get there. And he's got the Empress. We'll get there. So for her, what's on her mind, maybe about not just pulling back or pulling away, walking away from something, but going deeper within herself, right? This is a divine feminine. She's got this card of the moon. If you can't really see in this deck, it's such a beautiful deck, that this woman took a boat to an island so that she could follow the trail of cups, some standing upright, full, others knocked over, deeper into the cave representing her own interior world, crossing the drawbridge into the castle of her soul, perhaps, right? Going deeper, bringing her mind from out here, yang, into that, right? Going in to feel herself out emotionally, and keep in mind, what she wants is that deeper water of the card of the moon. What he's thinking about is the Empress, which is the divine feminine in her mother phase. So considering that we've got the mother archetype, if these two haven't met, then he's thinking about a more Empress energy perhaps than a mother energy. But this is Demeter. This is the goddess Demeter, Mother Earth, the topsoil, not so much Gaia, the whole planet, lava and and caves and stuff, but Demeter, the feeding topsoil, right? That which feeds all of life through vegetarian. Ceres in the Roman, which is where we get the word cereal from. So there's a strong connection there between what he's thinking and who this divine feminine is presenting archetypally in this contract. If they have met, she's on his mind, right? Very, very strong thought there, but also keep in mind, it's a major arcana card, so this feels, well, it is a soul contract. It would be divinely scripted, divinely guided in that way, but if they have not met, then he's kind of thinking of those qualities, perhaps connecting more to the divine feminine, not necessarily through paganism, but maybe, or very much thinking about that nurturance of the Divine Mother in terms of physical sustenance, not just, oh, I love you, but, oh, I love you, right? That physicality, that touch of it, that support, that unconditional love, right? Like the mother archetype here, nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. That's like quadruply so in the Empress. Remember, the Empress is the amalgamation or the blending together of the four queens in the court cards of the tarot. Interesting pairing so far. Let's keep going. What are they feeling? What's their element of water? Ooh, very interesting. She's got Kuan Yin. Yes, I'll look at him in a minute. The Nine of Cups, the wish fulfillment card. So 3 out of 4 cards, water cards here. So definitely going within this, right? The 8 of Cups leading right to the 9 of Cups. So her thoughts are leading her right into her emotions. And the thing about the 9 of Cups, it is called the wish fulfillment card, but it's the emotional wish. So there might be a great deal of compassion going on within her, Kuan Yin, Chinese goddess, or bodhisattva, it depends on who you read, of compassion and contentment. So that going with the flow, feeling it, right? Feeling the pull of the moon, but the waxing and the waning of it, feeling the ebb and the flow, but really going with the flow of it. Where he has the 7 of Pentacles, a nice touch of appraisal there, sort of like looking at stuff and saying, well, I don't know, what do you think this is worth? What do you think this is worth? In the emotional field, that is feeling things out. How do I feel about this? Not what do I think about this? And honestly, with that card of strength, wanting that courage, it would make sense that emotionally it's like, well, yes, I can have the courage to do this, but is it worth it? When you appraise something, you are assigning value, whether it's a piece of jewelry, a used car, a new car, a home, even a recipe, right? If you're going to cook something, you're like, well, do I want to make it with that? Do I really want to make it with that, right? Do I want to use the kale, or do I want to use spinach? Do I want to make it vegan? Do I want to put bacon in it? What's it worth? What's it worth to my health? This is more of that emotional sussing it out. Look, if you're going to do a courage thing, if you're going to walk the path of true love, if you're going to really walk into a soulmate contract, sure, there are sacrifices that have to be made, but they're often about boundaries that you have to gently lower, or things that have to change in your life to do that. So there's an assessment process going on intuitively, emotionally for this artist. Will he have to give up his art? Let's hope not. No one should have to give up their art to be in a relationship. And I don't feel like with the mother archetype, like I said, that language of artistry and pregnancy being the same, I should say creativity and pregnancy, so similar, that there is a symbiotic, satisfying soulmate contract here, that she would never ask him to give that up, but there is definitely that weighing this out. Is it worth this? We'll see. And you have to take the journey, but I'd say with a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, romantic soulmate contract, of course it's worth it, but you have to take the journey, and nothing is guaranteed ever to anyone, ever. What's the voice of the soul? And I really want to see for her, because that soul pull of the moon is so strong. And the Two of Pentacles balance. So like I said, with that waxing and the waning, the ebb and the flow, the point of view of the soul for her, the Two of Pentacles, the balance card, the bull leapers juggling here, is, girl, keep your balance one step at a time. You don't have to run into this. Make sure your footing is clear. And, you know, it feels like with that Nine of Cups, there's already an emotional fulfillment going on here, already feeling that. And if these two are already together, this feels very symbiotic, very supportive, very satisfying. But still, the soul saying, hey, look, just one step at a time. It's like I said before, that card of balance. So keep in mind, she's got in her Earth the Libra card, great big huge, about balance, the scales, and then the balance reflected up here in the position of the soul. What do we got going on for him? The Two of Swords, really analysis. When you think of two swords, in the Daughters of the Moon, it's two people fencing, right? Which is about strategy and thinking ahead and looking at it. But since we've got a card of appraisal and a card of analysis, they are different, but not radically so. Analysis is about gathering information. So perhaps all of the pieces of the puzzle intellectually have not completely hit for this divine masculine artist yet. You know, like when, I see this with photographers all the time, where it's like, okay, but is the lighting right here? Let me check. And how does that look that way? In other words, they're always changing the perspective to make sure that they're getting it from every angle, right? The lighting, the shadow, because you don't want something in pure light in all directions. It gets washed out. You want to make sure that there's the proper contrast of light and shadow and all of that. So the Two of Swords, maybe a little bit of mental conflict the soul might be seeing within this divine masculine, but still in a process of gathering information. Oh, and I just saw this. Duh, it takes me a minute. From the soul, they both have twos. She's got the Two of Pentacles. He's got the Two of Swords. So this might be something new, right? Well, the water would be the Two of Cups, that sort of emotional attraction. So this feels really lovely for these two. This might be in its infancy stages. Well, and that mother card with infancy does make sense. And with that artist, he might still be in the drawing board stage. That's hard to say, drawing board. Well, but we got our element spreads done there. You probably have a much clearer idea of who you are at this point, but we still have 5 more cards to help clarify this. We are going to use the Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue, one for each of them to put right in the center of these 5 card spreads, representing the angelic powers that walked with them into this contract. Cool? So that they can heal themselves, but also as you heal yourself, you gain that spiritual capacity to help the other heal, which is the foundation of a soulmate contract. You help each other heal. Let's do this. Breathe. Changing channels. Angels. There you are. Oh, they're so lovely. My angels, please. 2 cards, one for the divine feminine mother archetype, one for the divine masculine artist archetype. So well balanced, I feel, these two. In this Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract for March 2020. Your timeless, please. Oh, my angels, my angels. One, please, for this divine feminine mother archetype. One for this divine masculine artist archetype. They're flying out of my hands today. I'm kind of happy about that. Let's see who are the angels working here. For the divine feminine, she's got divine timing, right? It's like the baby's going to come in divine timing. I kind of get why she's sort of in this more emotionally go with the flow place. The angel of divine timing is saying, hey, honey, all in its right time. You can't make it full moon when it's new moon, and you can't make it dark moon when it's full, right? You have to wait. There is a process of timing here. And it does feel like, since both of them have twos in the soul position, she might really want it to be, let's get on with this, let's do it, I want to feel this. But she's really keeping her balance there and going with the flow. And I feel like in order to do that, she's being a bit more introspective mentally in terms of her emotions. Very healthy to be patient in that way. And really, what's in the top here? Nurturance, patience, unconditional love. So feeling she is, if not completely patient about this whole thing, well, with that bull leapers, the two of blades, she's probably wanting to take the bull by the horns, but her soul is saying, slow it down, just make sure you are in I-N space, balance, right? Who's he got? Playfulness. Because, you know, thunder only happens when it's raining, and players only love you when they're playing. Not totally true. I've had plenty of players love me regardless of what the fuck was going on, but was it love? Is it love that I'm feeling? Is it love I've been searching for? Here, to be able to play along with that strength is really what he wants. And artists at their best are, yes, when they are dark and contemplative and internal, but then to let it play out, to bring that joy and that playfulness. So I will say, I mean, this is maybe shooting fish in a barrel here, but this does feel like slightly mother-child in the sense that it's like the artist is the kite and the mother archetype is the rock, right? It does feel a little that way here. And that might be why he's thinking about this divine feminine in a way that is very much Demeter, right? That groundedness. He wants that stability and that support in a relationship so that he can play, but I would think in a way that allows him to analyze and create and be courageous. When you know somebody has your back, you can be more bold. Like me making this move to doing YouTube stuff. It's like I've read people face to face for decades and decades and decades. This was a leap, but I really needed, in particular, my mom to say, no, honey, we got you. Look, take the risk. It's worth it. You're in your 50s. It's a career change. Everybody's going. My mom put it in such clear ways. She goes, honey, the world is changing for everybody right now in this economy. Go with it. We'll help you. And they have. And now I've made it, right? So that to have that sort of unconditional love and patience and support in a healthy way that's not smothering in any relationship is a blessing. But in a romantic one, that's very touching and very bonding and very intimate. So it feels like he's going to bring a lot of playfulness and joy to her as well, while she is sort of in this divine timing place, as though this relationship she is gestating within herself. Right? You don't want it coming out early, right? You don't want a preemie. You want everything to come out in its proper divine timing. Lovely. Let's ask the higher selves, the higher self collective, through the Whispers of Love Oracle. Love this deck. Sometimes just comes right out and smacks you in the third eye with what to do. Breathe. All right, higher self collective, please. 2 cards, one for this divine feminine mother archetype, one for this divine masculine artist archetype in this Scorpio collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, intimate, romantic, satisfying, sexual, soulmate contract for March 2020 or timeless, please. One for this divine feminine mother archetype, one please for this divine masculine artist archetype. Cards are flying out. Not having to endlessly shuffle today. Kind of digging that. Might be because it's Scorpio. Zap! Right? Rest and relaxation is essential. we all have a fundamental need to take breaks. So I feel like that is part of this mental rest, kind of going within, perhaps a bit more contemplation. Of course, Kuan Yin is not turning handsprings here. She's chilling out by the waterfall, watching it all flow by. So I do get that feeling of balance here in divine timing, that all she really needs to do, according to the higher self, is just rest and relax. Let this unfold, divine feminine. And for the divine masculine artist, actions speak loudly. Express your love through actions. So, of course, the divine feminine is being told, go yin, baby. Go in, go yin, relax, regenerate, rejuvenate. And the divine masculine artist is saying, take action, even if it's creative, inspired, artistic action, but keep it playful. Now, if these two have not met yet, then this is exactly how they're going to meet each other. By the yin being very yin, not passive, I guess that's the opposite of active, but let's say receptive, right? Just be like, all right, let's see what happens. This is all in divine timing. You can't screw up the divine plan of a soulmate contract. You meet when you're supposed to meet. Yes, it may not be scripted in such a down to the second thing, but more like a litmus test. Like, where are you in terms of your acid alkaline balance, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? Are you ready for each other yet? Is the egg fully boiled yet? Or are you going to crack it open and have it go everywhere? So there is a divine timing thing here for both of them. Hers a bit more in the relaxed and his more in terms of taking action. Action speaks loudly. Express your love through actions. That's very cool for an artist. One more card left from the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. One side of the card is the mantra, the other the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in the bookie book. Doesn't matter who you are who's watching this. If you use this mantra, it will help you heal you, but will also help you heal the other and the contract itself. That's the idea of a soulmate, right? You're going to help each other heal. So these are the voices of the Ascended Masters. If you will take a couple of nice deep breaths, let's get you your healing mantra, and then we'll do the overview. Nice deep breath. My Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity. The perfect healing mantra, please. For this divine feminine mother archetype and this divine masculine artist archetype in this Scorpio collective. Sun, moon, rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract for March 2020 or timeless, please. What is the perfect healing mantra for this soulmate contract? Thank you, my masters. Let's see who you got. Invoking self-realization. Each breath confirms how awake I already am. This is a great card. It's a great mantra, right? Invoking self-realization. Like, self-realization's absolutely essential on any kind of spiritual path, as you realize there's only one self. There is no separation. It's a bit much for the brain, for the mind, but each breath confirms how awake I already am. This is totally about being present in, in the present moment, and it's why I say breathe, right? It brings you into the present moment. So let's have a look at this one. Integrating the ego, invoking self-realization. Each breath confirms how awake I already am. Self-realization is a spontaneous remembrance of your interconnection to all that is. Right? It's that, oh my God, I'm one with everything. like a big pizza. Make me one with everything. You are willing to embrace your individuality as a unique expression of source in physical form. Yeah, there's a unity consciousness piece to all of this. I'm really digging it. By aligning with the breath, you see that while you appear to be a person, which you do, it is the universe that breathes everything into existence. So it's not even that we are a part of something. We are one with the quantum field, one with the divine, one with the breath. In fact, you ever notice you breathe in dreams, right? It's like it doesn't matter what level of consciousness you're at, you're always breathing. So we exhale, our final exhale in this life when we croak, and we inhale our next breath in the next life, the next world, whatever our soul's journey may be. This mantra is ideal for reducing stress, brilliant, managing pain, and relaxing the nervous system, which would be ideal for this Divine Mother, right? Like Lama's breathing, symbolically speaking, and for this artist to find that courage, to find that flow within himself, both of them invoking self-realization. Let's pop up the picture, we'll do the overview and see what else comes up, shall we? Nice deep breath, invoking self-realization. Magic clap. We've got the divine feminine with the mother archetype, the shadow attribute, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. The light attribute, nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. And I can feel that with that thing of the moon, particularly with that divine timing card right in the center of her element spread, that she really wants this to come to fruition, right? When the moon rides at her peak, then ye heart's desire seek. Wiccan read poetic version Dorian Valiente, right? So we're looking there that she has got the balance, the mental, emotional, mostly mental balance, because it's a Libra and air card. Really, that's her fuel to get her to that, to kind of allow this thing to unfold in a balanced way. And in her mental field, we have the Eight of Cups. So kind of exploring her emotions, refocusing the mind into herself to feel what? The contentment that is already there, that Nine of Cups, that wish fulfillment. So she's already given herself a lot of emotional fulfillment, perhaps through spiritual practice, but then looking down here at rest and relaxation is essential. It might just be that ability to just relax and allow things to gestate, they have not come, we'll use a pregnancy word, full term. And the voice of the soul, again, is reiterating the balance that we see in that card of the Libra in the Earth position with an Earth card of the Two of Pentacles. The bull leapers, acrobatic women who would run towards the bull, grab it by the horns and flip over it as a feat of athleticism. And with that card of the Angel of Divine Timing, it does feel like she's going to keep her balance here while resting and relaxation being so essential for her, as we all have a fundamental need to take breaks. So it does feel like she's on, not that they've broken up, they might not have even met, but it does feel like there's a momentum here that it's okay for her to chill out and rest for a little bit. Jumping over here to the Divine Masculine Artist archetype, the shadow attribute, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others. We've seen it, we've been there before. Posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. In the light attribute, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. I have to say that's very Scorpionic in its way too, right? It's going into the invisible world. And what he wants here is the courage, the strength, that Herculean strength to follow his heart, to follow the path that is being laid out before him in this relationship, the soulmate contract with this mother archetype, whether they have met face to face or not. And what he has to get him there are past Six of Wand victories, that he's already slayed many a dragon, so to speak, embraced his shadow, and has achieved what he has wanted again and again and again. So we do have a momentum there for him as well in terms of maybe conquering his own fear, but certainly that's part of courage, of following his own heart, that sort of internal strength. what's on his mind is the Empress, right? A definite divine feminine energy. So there might be a telepathic thing going on here. He might be experiencing the divine feminine in terms of the goddess in telepathy, in terms of understanding, in terms of reading up, in terms of intellectual analysis, which we see in that spirit position there for him. But with that Seven of Pentacles in the emotional field, there really is a process of assessment going on here. Whether this is worth it, whether he has what it takes. That's what I mean about an overview. Sometimes when all the pieces of the puzzle are on the table, may not be just a question of strength. It might be a question of, do I have everything I need to do this? Like, am I solid and stable and perhaps balanced to do this? Wanting to move maybe from the Seven of Pentacles to the Eight of Pentacles emotionally, so feeling a bit more stable there. And of course with that Two of Swords, like she has the Two of Pentacles, he's got the Two of Swords in that soul position. He may be going back and forth in his mind about this quite a bit, just trying to gather information, not necessarily the indecision. I feel that's more the Two of Flames. This is more of the really trying to see it from as many different perspectives as possible. And he does have the Angel of Playfulness here. So to keep his lightheartedness about this, maybe not ready to put a ring on it right away. Again, they might not have even met yet, but if they have, it's like, well, let's have fun. Let's play this out. Let's really bring this together in a fun, victorious way, considering what both of them have most likely been through with twin flames. To be presented with a soulmate, they may not know it's soulmate, right? They might be expecting a rehash instead of a whole recreation of their relationship patterns. And what's the card from his higher self? Actions speak loudly. Express love through your actions, which a divine masculine artist is kind of built to do, but let it be done symbolically. It does not have to be this great big huge display so much as it can be perhaps an expression through art of some kind, really a movement from the soul outward into form. And considering that their healing mantra, invoking self-realization, each breath confirms how awake I already am. Both of them can partner with their breaths individually so that when they come together, they are in balance. They are in flow. They have found their strength. They have found their intuition in fruition. That was hard